Ban.
Alright everyone, welcome back. TI8 China Qualifiers, baby. For the Dream versus iG.Vitality.
Radiant team ban.
Let's do that. Alright. Hello everybody in game. So this is round number 7 for today out of 8. So we're getting towards the end of the day here for the China Qualifiers. Though of course there are still plenty of other qualifiers going on. In terms of your standings for these two teams, we have FTD at 2-1, looking pretty good on the top side of the bracket. iG.Vitality, the only currently undefeated team, they're 2-0. So, would be important for them to maintain that record. This is looking like two of the teams that are vying for that top spot. I feel like people have been a little bit disappointed by Keen Gaming's placement so far. They're currently playing up against Serenity, so the results of that match are going to be pretty important for the overall standings. And the other match that's going to be going on in this time slot is CDEC versus Young Dumb. I don't know if that one's going to end up being all that important. I think both of those teams are currently 0-3. So, in summary, let's watch this game. We've got a Wisp ban, Lesh, and ET also being banned out. Marana Bane Lycan on the other side. We saw For the Dream have an absolutely ridiculous game earlier that they won in like 17 minutes with a Love You, Love Me TA, and then they had some pretty nice performance on the Lycan as well. They just had such a heavy push lineup. Though to ban out some of those aggressive heroes, or to ban out some of the decisions that iG.V have made, they are going to have to let FTD have the Beastmaster Skywrath Mage. So very, very potent dual lane combination, tons of harassment. The lockdown from the Beastmaster synergizing beautifully, of course, with that Mystic Flare. And on iG.Vitality, they've just got themselves the Night Stalker so far. Like we've been saying, still pretty popular. Not too shocked to see it here. But yeah, we'll see. What else are they going to go for? How do they deal with this dual lane? I've seen people picking Winter Wyvern into this. Phantom Lancer picked quite early, but FTD don't necessarily have the heroes to deal with it at the moment. So Miracle just going to put his cards on the table here somewhat. There is still some flexibility in the PL in terms of he can be run mid, he can be run in the safe lane. So that's certainly good. Fairly high armor, so does deal with a little bit of the Beastmaster harassment quite well.
5 seconds
and FTD definitely going to have to try and either shut him down in the laning stage or make sure that they have the right heroes to be able to deal with him as the game goes on. Some teams have really been liking the Lesh. We could see some Ember. Not sure what other tricks FTD have up their sleeve for this one. I'm actually interested to see what iG.V have been picking. Let's see if we can't pull some of this up. So I have seen Winter Wyvern work pretty nicely against, well, not necessarily against the Beastmaster Skywrath. I've seen Winter Wyvern work pretty nicely against the Beastmaster Wisp dual lane, but I guess the Beastmaster Skywrath is a little bit different, and the Cold Embrace is not at all value against against Skywrath Mage. So maybe not something that we're looking towards here. Would be nice to get some lockdown from their support position, or even just some AoE from the support position, but there's tons of options there. Warlock's been banned, but Jakira's still in the pool.
5 seconds remaining.
What else could we see? Lion's not completely terrible, though that might not be what they're looking at here. If they want more of a sustained support, as opposed to that AoE and lockdown, could see the Witch Doctor or Dazzle coming in here, have the Grave against the Beastmaster Roar, and some extra heal sustain in the lane against the Skywrath Mage. But Bloodseeker now banned. iG.V maybe a little bit worried about how their lanes are going to go. And the Bloodseeker is just value when you've got this much harassment in one lane. So
5 seconds remaining.
What will FTD get rid of? Is it even worth banning more supports? Can they not just get rid of a core that they're actually worried about? You know that iG.V are going to pick up position 5, but are any of the position 5s really valuable enough that you ban them here instead of just getting rid of like maybe a good team fighting offlaner or something? Who paused? Yellow? Oh, everybody DC'd. Well, dang. Oh, it was not okay. Well, there you go. Good job, Super. Very mannered. So they are hopefully back, and now they can take their pick. All right, let's have a look here. What are these two teams been playing? All right, so iG.V. Last game they played, the three cores were Lesh, PL, Axe. Game before that, DK, Lesh, Tide. Before that they picked a Spectre, DK, Doom, Luna, Storm, Sand King. They've actually been playing so much Spectre. Oh my god, they've played 4 games of Spectre in 7 games. That is unheard of. How many of those did they win?
Radiant team pick.
2. They won 2 of those. Their non-Spectre win rate is actually quite high, comparatively. So I don't know how much I believe in the Spectre, but they do seem to be taking some more traditional kind of late-gamey team fighting options. So maybe that's something that we'll end up seeing here again. The Ember Band is actually going to come from the for the Dream side, as they will now... What are they going to grab? There's still some good 4 positions left. There's still a Sand King.
5 seconds remaining.
What else? They could take the Jakiro or something for themselves if they really wanted to just hammer home these lanes and sort of focus on that angle. I think the Jakiro is even pretty good against the Phantom Lancer in general. You just fight in the Macropyre. The Ice Path is really valuable. And even the attack speed slow, I think, is not to be underestimated in terms of how much it can reduce PL's damage output. They didn't DC again, did they? No. They're just really taking their time on deciding how they're going to deal with this. Because they probably have a lot of ideas. Like, oh, do we actually pick Sven? Like, what's the go here? They will take Void. Okay, so it could still be angling for the Jakiro, potentially. iG.V don't have a defensive support just yet, so I'm really liking that, I'm really liking that Dazzle angle at the moment. I think the Dazzle with the Phantom Lancer gives you quite a lot of synergy in the lane. Once you get the illusions up, you can get some heal bombs going. And then the Grave is just going to be so valuable this game. The Weave, maybe not so much. You probably won't be using the Weave defensively since FTD are mostly magical damage at the moment. But yeah, it's still pretty useful to use offensively. Could be something to look for. And in terms of how FTD would counterpick that Dazzle, they've already got Beastmaster, so they can't really pick Axe. They could pick Silencer. I think Silencer could actually be a really interesting pick here, though I don't know if anyone other than Serenity have been playing it. And both teams are already starting to dip pretty deep into their reserve time. As iG.V will just go for the Witch Doctor at the end of the day. So sustain against the Skywrath spam. I mean, normally you would talk... I think in the old days you would talk about Witch Doctor being decent against Beastmaster, but Beastmaster doesn't really skill Call of the Wild all that early. Most people get 404, so the Paralyzing Cask, in that sense, not super useful.
10 seconds
at least as far as the laning stage is concerned. And still very single-target oriented in terms of their lineup. The lockdown situation is okay, but... I mean, we could see FTD exploit that a little bit. If they wanted to go really late this game, we could see something like a Storm Spirit being picked up. They do have the last overall pick, and it looks like they're not interested really in late game, as they're going to grab themselves a Chen. Okay, so more lane dominance, more push. The Void doesn't really have to do any sieging this game. They're just going to be relying on the Beastmaster Aura and the Chen creeps to help bring down those early towers. And I think they can pretty much pick whatever they want, or whatever archetype they want now for the mid lane. Like, it could be a big spell damage hero, could still be physical damage, but whatever it is, it's going to be just fine. And that's important because they have a good matchup. They can just pick a good matchup because they have less pick, is what I mean. So they're not constrained necessarily by their own draft in terms of like, oh wait, crap, we forgot to pick catch, or we forgot to pick stuns, or we forgot to pick building damage, or we forgot to pick Roshan damage. Like they have most of their bases covered with these first 4 picks, so they've really opened up this last pick in a lot of ways to make sure that that hero is going to be the one that really takes over the game. More likely than not, it is going to end up being a ranged hero that can put some damage into the Chronosphere, just because they do already have the Void, so they're at least constrained a little bit there, but iG.V going to be going for this Tide pick that they do seem to like quite a bit. They picked it twice in the last couple of days between the open qualifiers and the regional, well, the closed qualifiers now. I'm personally not all that convinced by Tide at the moment. I don't feel like he's that great of a dual lane hero. He's okay. You can get a point in Gush. You know, there's certain matchups where you can do all right, but does just feel like he doesn't really bring a whole lot of damage compared to other offlaners these days. The one thing that I will say for him this game is that he can't be killed by the Beastmaster Skywrath Mage combination, so that's nice. And it is a hero that a lot of teams like against Faceless Void, because Void comes in with the Chrono, and then Tide just blinks over top of it, drops the Ravage in the backline, stuns everybody, stuns the Void, and really prevents the Chronosphere from being all that valuable. So I can see where iG.V are coming from here, and this does help to cement the late game a bit more for them. You know, Beastmaster certainly scales, but doesn't bring that level of AoE teamfight that the Tide is going to be bringing as the game goes on.
5 seconds remaining.
So if this game drags, then iG.V are looking good. And it seems to be that that's the way that they're drafting recently. I think they're drafting in a lot of ways for the inevitability. So they're either picking big tricores that they know can go late, or they're just making sure that they have the superior late game through team fight. Their match lengths, looking at it now, are actually reasonably long. They had an hour and 25-minute game that they won against eHome.
10 seconds
there was
remaining.
a 36-minute game, 37, 34, and then their game against LFY was 58 minutes. Their most recent game against CDEC was 49. So I would say that they're probably on the slower end for teams at the moment. You compare that to FTD, they won their last game in 19 and a half minutes. They do also have some pretty long games in here, though. So they won a 13-minute game somewhere in there. That was probably during opens, if I had to guess. But all right, just some more push to round things out, as they will grab themselves Dragon Knight. So okay, he kind of works with the Chronosphere. It's not perfect. Decent against the Phantom Lancer. Doesn't die all that quickly to the illusions. You get some splash for some AoE clear. You get the single target stun for the lockdown. The Breathe Fire is also good at helping to take a little bit of the edge off of the Phantom Lancer early on. And they've got okay answers for the Lina. I think the Lina still fits that mold that I was talking about of iG.V kind of setting their sights a little bit later on. The way that most people are playing Lina at the moment is they're really aiming for that level 20 talent, sort of the 3-4 slot. You do still, of course, gank quite a bit with your Yules and your Shadowblade and whatnot, but it does seem to be that the overall plan is to aim for that sort of hybrid right-click build a little bit further down the line. So we'll see if they can hold things off against FTD. The one other nice thing about the Lina, which they were completely lacking up until this point in the draft, was having any deep push, really. Unless Phantom Lancer buys an Aghanim Scepter, but I would be shocked if that happens. We've seen some weird stuff so far. We've seen Afu completely unable to land a boat combo. We've seen Super accidentally sell his Yules. We've seen Lycan thinking about a Blink Dagger, but I somehow doubt that Mr. Miracle is going to be buying an Aghanim Scepter on his Phantom Lancer. But who knows? Anything can happen. It is Dota after all. So, got some tips at the beginning of the game. Some good luck, have fun. For those of you just tuning in, iG.V currently 2-0 and FTD 2-1. Both of them pretty much right there at the top of the group and looking to close out their first days in pretty convincing fashion. Do either of these two teams play in the next round, actually? Yes. So next round, iG.V are going to be playing up against Serenity, though this is actually FTD's last game for the day. So we'll see how that goes. James with no regen at all here on the Skywrath Mage. Just well, he's got some mana regen, no HP regen, with his Null Talisman, Mango, and Clarity.
30 seconds to battle.
So full-on lane harassment build out of him. Does get scouted down here by the Night Stalker, it looks like. And FTD are going to be running Void plus Chen in the offlane. I'm interested to see how Raji plays this. We saw a Chen we saw him playing the Chen earlier and just kind of focusing on the lane more than anything, not really trying to rotate around at all. Picks up the Penitence at level 1, actually. And they're just going blow for blow, but Phantom Lancer giving about as good as he's getting, and looks like iG.V, alright, they will secure themselves that bounty run at the end of the day. So just a 2-for-2 split on the bounties. Mid lane, Lina versus Dragon Knight. Not particularly interesting in terms of the matchup. Don't think DK should be in too much trouble. Probably only dies with the rotation or once the Lina gets level 6. But Half getting the slightly better block overall. Love you, love me. Just gonna immediately drag it. Get it off the hill.
Radiant structures
In
are
July,
fortified.
not a great lane position. Beyond gets pretty much, almost a perfect block. It does end up inside the wave. But James getting gone on here. Just getting right click down. They did skill the gush for this. And all James has is this enchanted mango to regen up off of. Okay, avoid putting some harassment down onto Miracle, but plenty of sustain here for Super. Pretty happy that they picked the Witch Doctor now that the Chen has also been grabbed for FTD, so Paralyzing Cast gonna come in handy there. James still just spamming out these first 2 Arcane Bolts. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him heading back towards the fountain before too long, but Dogfight's gonna grab this wave and drag it all the way around. A little bit precarious getting up these steps, but manages to hold the aggro. And In July, meanwhile, just gonna use his creep wave to help force Beyond under this tower. Make it a little bit more difficult to CS. As Dogfight's still just holding this wave over here. He's got 3 mangoes, so he can do this all day. Mid lane actually going really well for Dragon Knight initially.
Bottom tower is
Love me 9-2 against the 2-1 Lina. Half not having a very fun time so far, but once he starts getting able to spam out the wave, I think he'll catch back up just fine. Alright, James, is that it? Are we done? Is that all the Arcane Bolt spam? Have you got it all out of your system? Is he gonna drop his Null Talisman and pop the mango? It's done, but DK still just charging forward with his 2 points in Dragon's Blood. Where's the Skywrath Mage? He's taking a long way home. Is he gonna stack a camp or anything? No. It's a little bit of a missed opportunity, I think, James. Big trouble for Beyond. Actually getting dove on down here at bottom. Just barely survives. One charge is helping to keep him alive. In July gonna immediately salve up. If you love me, just gonna go grab this invis. But the gap between him and the Lina is starting to close a little bit. Half does also have his bottle, I think, coming out right this second, so keep that sustained spam going. And Phantom Lancer, despite the little bit of pressure from the Void and the Chen, is still farming just fine. So, I don't know if Raji hasn't necessarily gotten the best creeps, or what the situation has been up here, but Miracle seems to be doing okay. And still plenty of regen in reserve. He's got a Healing Salve, 3 Tangos, and Super can always get that point in the Voodoo Restoration if he needs it. So I don't know if this lane is quite going the way that FTD were hoping that it would. The Void's farming okay, but the Beastmaster is coming under some pretty heavy fire down at bottom. And maybe we'll start to see these lanes break down a little bit once the bounties pop up, but for now, still very just typical of this patch. Lots of 2-on-2 dogfights. I mean, it is nighttime now. He's over towards mid. Dragon Knight not looking all that healthy. He does have a salve, but he's holding on to it for a little bit.
illusion.
And that could be his undoing. He does have 1100 HP, and he's regenning pretty quickly. But now Dogfights comes in. They should be able to land this stun. Do they have enough damage, though? That's the question. Looks like probably not, and I'm actually going to miss First Blood. This happens down at bottom. We're going to keep our eyes here. Dragon Knight trying to salve through. Can he get the Dragon Tail off? He does, but he's forced to use the Soul Ring. And Dogfights finishes him off. That Void cooldown not long enough yet. And In July actually managed to kill off James down bottom.
Radiant's middle tower
Wait, how
is
did...
under attack.
So James killed In July, and then I guess did he run into the tower and die? It didn't look like In July was anywhere nearby, but... Couple of kills being traded. Dogfights getting chased away up here. James knows that he has the creep back up as well, so... Yeah, Dogfight's not looking like he's going to be able to secure this bounty. And it might actually be 4 bounties for FTD Alright, they missed out on... they lost out a little bit on kills in that last little engagement, but that 4 bounty is really going to help, and that will secure them a nice little 1k net worth lead here at the 5-minute mark. Dogfight's still keen to keep making use of this first nighttime, but the scan from the Radiant is going to reveal this. And they still find the kill over at mid. Only 1 point up in the Maledict. Lina does have level 6 now, so I think so long as they land the initiation, the Dragon Knight is going to end up going down. But James, good positioning, waiting on the side, ready to break the smoke. Wouldn't even necessarily have to tank the gank if he breaks it, since he's sitting right here up on the high ground. But James walks away from the mid lane a little bit and looks like he will actually end up tanking the gank. They're going to try for the send back. I don't think there's any way that this works, or maybe it does. Nice stomp from the Chen, and there you go. Raji saves his life. Miracle putting on some more pressure. Still the lead farmer in the game here, but plenty of people nipping at his heels. Probably expecting just the standard build, get some treads, get a defusal. He is going for the maxed out Phantom Rush for slightly better farming. And Dogfight's still stalking over at mid, but it's actually half who needs to be careful. He gets slowed down by the concussive shot. Now they've got the stun, and Love You Love Me quickly grabs the kill with the breathe fire. James has been making some really nice rotations so far on this Lesh. On the Skywrath match. He played a great game earlier on the Leshrac as well. So we are no strangers to his roaming prowess. But yeah, FTD gonna put some pressure on here. And even more pressure as Raji's actually looking for the wraparound. Still another minute until daytime, and Lina is respawning. They're actually going to go for it now. Do they just want the Lina again? Looks like they do. They get the concussive shot down. Stop onto 2. Raji with the chain stun. Can they get both kills? Dogfights is kind of low. He's getting right-clicked down. Raji's still there. Double kill for the Chen. Oh, man. And Super's even TP'd in here. Can we make it a triple for the Chen? Oh, no. Love You Love Me wants that one instead. But FTD. These are some sick rotations. And that is back-to-back deaths for the Lina. Doesn't even have her phase boots just yet. Getting shoved all the way down that net worth chart. And I guess we'll just have to see what the Phantom Lancer can do. His timing is still a little ways away. The Tide not really able to participate just yet. He's actually just going to be going for a mech this game. Do I like the mech? Is it better than just getting a pipe or getting a hood? I honestly think I like the hood a little bit better. Oh, and Miracle's now dead. Got chronoed and roared. I was too busy musing about mech. But yeah, you can kind of see what happened there.
Regeneration.
So these rotations from FTD have been so good. They are just completely destroying iG.V in terms of moving around the map. Not that Dogfights hasn't been trying. He did get that successful gank a little bit earlier, but that's pretty much been the only bright spot for iG.V in the last couple of minutes. This Ravage from the Tidehunter, which he hasn't even skilled just yet, is going to have to do quite a bit of work. They're going to lose the mid-tier 1 tower before too long. The next Dragon Knight ultimate is pretty much going to secure that. And Beyond just getting super aggro. Threatening constantly. In July, going to get spammed out a little bit down here at bottom. Can they actually finish him off? I don't think so. Still chasing in July. Gonna grab some arcane boots, and he's gonna be a-okay, it looks like. Is the shrine active? No, still 65 seconds to go, so maybe a little trip back to base for him. But very important that FTD managed to take this tier 1 tower as early as they did. Just open up the map a little bit more, secure that Roshan control. Void, pretty standard build, just going to be going for a Mask of Madness into a BKB this game. Doesn't necessarily need to be the big initiator. And also just needs to avoid getting locked down at all by an LSA or Ravage over the Chrono. But like I was saying earlier, this iG.V lineup isn't really designed to be at its peak here in the early stages of the game. They're very much looking towards that PL. PL's first power spike is going to be Defusal plus his level 15 talent. And then after that, he just keeps getting better and better and better. So This net worth on the PL not really amounting to much at the moment, but once we get a bit further into the game, that's when Miracle is really going to start to shine. The Lina also kind of the same story. Bit of a bad start, but certainly a hero that can just spam chug clarities and catch back up by shoving waves. So FTD gonna have to keep tightening these screws, but they are doing just that. Take out the tier 1 tower up top. Miracle getting chased down by James over here, looking to force him out of his own jungle. Hasting on this Dragon Knight. Does have a Dragon Tail, but unfortunately no level 6 for the Skywrath Mage, so it's not an easy kill at all. Dogfight's still pretty tanky, but the concussive shot slows him down, and these right clicks from the Dragon Knight are relentless. Didn't have either ultimate, but there you go. And FTD are still just pushing top. Alright, iG.V trying to huddle together for some strength in numbers. They do send in July up there to defend. Both gonna get popped, and it's gonna help keep this wave alive as the catapult is still going to work, and now net down in July. He's got the Ravage, but help is not really on its way at all. Roar coming out now. The Kraken Shell's already being popped. He's still pretty tanky. Ravage only gonna end up catching onto one. Can they help this Dragon Knight out? It looks like they should be able to. They get the silence onto the Lina, preventing the burst damage. Chen just managed to get off the Hand of God, and now FTD. Can they escape? Beyond tries for the TP out, but it will get cancelled. And half puts him in the grave. So with that, iG.V, they don't manage to take the bottom tier 1 tower, but they hold their top tier 2, and they do manage to find 2 fairly nice kills. So good exchange. They could have maybe hoped for... that's about as much as they could have hoped for out of that first Ravage, I think. Nicely played by In July. Baiting them in pretty deep under the tower, running for the tree line, and then... I think they were hoping to get some clean kills, but the Chen got focused down a little bit too quickly, so he couldn't get the send back. And FTD still back on the prowl, though. They got another Chronosphere ready to use. Miracle comes running around the corner. He's got his supports here to help him out. This is Void, silence for now, but should just be able to time walk up onto the high ground, and looks like he's going to be okay. Miracle's still a little ways away from that defusal. Okay, so we're slowing down a little bit. iG.V seem to be finding their footing a bit more. Another Ravage in 60 seconds. FTD have not used this next Chronosphere just yet. We haven't seen this next Primal Roar. And they are just kind of playing split up at the moment, waiting for some items. Love You Love Me is going to be going for a blink. And Dogfights is Invis hunting for something here. They can quite easily go for James, but they're going to split their focus onto 2 different targets. I don't know if they can actually find both. James is going to get brought down by one more right click. They drop the Chronosphere onto the Night Stalker, but it's not going to do anything. And okay. Free Chrono forced. Why not? Night Stalker a little bit too tanky. And Faceless Void not really doing a whole lot of damage himself, especially not with the Mask of Madness delivered just yet. His damage is also so RNG based. Like, if you get a few lucky bashes in the chrono duration, sure, easy kill. If not, and you look pretty unimpressive.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's master hunting. Let's get the Roar over onto the Lina, but Void can't quite get over there just yet. Stun is going to end up connecting. Looks like half should be brought down. No way to save him. FTD going to keep on chasing and looking for more. Super turns around the corner and is going to get spotted immediately. Double kill for the Void. Nice little consolation prize for him, despite the fact he didn't get the kill out of the Chronosphere. In July's got the Ravage, but is he maybe just going to look for a trade here? I think they're just going to give up on this tier 2. It's already a little bit too low, and they don't have Glyph to get everybody in position. They're pinging, though, and the tide is coming over as if they're going to defend. I don't know if I like this decision. I guess they can look for a fight afterwards. Other heroes have now respawned. PL jumping into a little bit of an awkward situation. Just has to hide amongst the illusions, but they found the real one. Silencing up Miracle. He runs down onto the low ground. They lose the Skywrath Mage. Now Beastmaster in some trouble. Ravage on the backlines. Only catching onto the Dragon Knight, but still able to follow it up with some more damage. Beyond's going to die on this side of the fight. One more right click brings down him. And now they've got the follow-up stuns. Dragon Knight, does he have any way to escape? Gets a stun over onto the Lina. In July, still going to stay right on top of him. And that the rest of iG.V are able to come over. This is a complete disaster for FTD. I doubted the rotation from In July, but that put him in just the right place at just the right time. They caught FTD as they were trying to make this rotation over from the top push towards the middle lane, and that is huge. Killing spree ended. Actually, how much gold did they get for that? So that is a 2.5k swing
Dire's
pretty much
bottom tower
at 14
has
minutes into the game.
Radiant are scanning.
Unfortunately, Void does manage to take out a tier 1 tower at bottom and grab himself a couple of bounty runes. So that's still nice. And oh, Lina actually getting run at. Roar is going to come out, and looks like Half is dead once again. So as quickly as he got all of that gold for those kills, he gets put back in the bin. Alright, FTD, this is the rotation that they were looking for when they got rudely interrupted by that Ravage a little bit earlier. So, coming over into the pit. They don't have that many Chen creeps though, so not necessarily that easy to tank this, but they do have good old Dragon Knight, so he can be the one to deal with it. iG.V are coming over, but with no Ravage and Lina, I don't really see any way for them to stop this. Dogfights wants to try for the steal, scouts things out, needs to decide whether he's flying into the pit in a split second, and he decides, I think correctly, that he doesn't want anything to do with that. Oh. Alright, and now we're just going to pop DK Ultimate for a nice Ancients. Alright, FTD still on the clock. Still got to keep on pushing these towers. Can't let the Phantom Lancer hit that. Well, I guess his first timing is going to be what they're racing against here. Once he hits that level 15, he's got the Diffusal Blade now. He will be able to commit into the fights a little bit more. TP coming down. Beyond knows which one the real one is, but he doesn't actually have a Primal Roar available. And this rune might help to set this one up. He's tracking onto the fake, unfortunately for him. Beyond. They don't have a glyph or anything to TP anyone in here, so they just have to give the tier 1 tower up. They do get a tier 2 mid in exchange. The rest of the team's coming down, but iG.Vitality actually have quite a lot of numbers in the area, and Super pops down a Sentry. He suspects what's going on. They're going to drop the Chrono on the back line. It's only onto the Night Stalker, and what is Faceless Void doing? He just loses the Aegis immediately afterwards. iG.Vitality, this should be a great fight. They will end up losing to Lina. Ravage now coming through, catches onto both of the heroes, stunned by the cask. They get no spells off. The Dragon Knight trying to escape now as Miracle latches onto him. Poor Lina is dead, but the rest of iG.V are smiling as they're just going to clean up this fight completely. Raji, no way for him to escape. The Faceless Void's contribution, pretty much nothing. He does get the time dilation off, which, no, not going to be enough to save the Chen, unfortunately. Oh, Dark Troll Summoner helping a little bit, but Miracle's got the vision, and he'll be the one to claim that double kill. And at this point, I am starting to feel not so optimistic about FTD's chances of winning this game. Yeah, Dogfights is even getting on the chat wheel. iG.V just goes straight into pushing this bottom tower, and why not? They know that the Chronosphere is on cooldown. One crucial whiff. Even if they had killed the Night Stalker, is it worth it to just solo Chrono the Night Stalker? Like, what is the point? Dogfights don't care. Dragon Knight trying to keep them locked down here. iG.V gonna pop the drum and run. They do get the time dilation slow. Miracle re-engaging, focusing onto the Beast Smashes. Paralyzing Cask is bouncing beautifully. Great play out of Super. Love you, love me. Next one up on the chopping block. The Maledict working through him pretty quickly. Miracle doesn't get any help from his team as he just dies solo to that Skywrath Mage ultimate. The illusions don't help him out at all in that situation. And now FTD gonna chase for more. They actually have the damage here. They've got the Death Ward. Looks like Dragon Knight should be going down. Medallion helping out a little bit, but not enough. And iG.V, once again, they lose a core, but still winning the fight overall as they take 2 cores off of the FTD side. Lina farming all the while, pushing out the mid lane, even grabbing the mid tier 1. And iG.V now with plenty of room to move on the map. They can take over some of this Radiant jungle, keep on farming there. And for the first time, this game, they are going to take over the net worth lead as well. Only 20 seconds to go on the Ravage. July already has a blink waiting for him if he wants it. Lina still has a little bit of catch-up work to do, but really feeling like FTD are starting to, not running out of plays, but if this game goes late, I think they lose, straight up. So they unfortunately have no option but to just keep the pressure on. Sky does almost have an Atos. That's going to be pretty handy against the PL. Their catch is okay. They've got the blink from the Dragon Knight and they've got Roar, but A little bit more lockdown's not going to go amiss. And iG.V coming down to fight here. They're going to spot the Dragon Knight, silencing him up. There is going to be an attempted sendback. And when I say attempted, I mean successful, because there's no purge. Alright, so that's the end of that. Miracle is just going to be going in for a Manta style here. Is the Manta all that useful in this game? There's a decent amount of stuff to purge. You definitely need it against the Skyrath silence. And it'll be useful against the Root. He's already seen what the Skyrath is building with all of his bracers. We do sometimes see Shadow Blade as a second item on the Phantom Lancer, which I think is pretty darn good. You've got a way to dispel a dust, so there's always some value there. And you're fast enough to kind of run away from sentries. Oh, James tries to TP out. Dogfights was just watching him the entire time, and this is looking like a very free kill. Are they going to give it to the Lina? Yes. Well, I don't know about giving, but Lina's going to take. Grabs that with the Laguna Blade. CD still want to try and find a fight, though. They've got the Shadow Blade up on the Beastmaster. They get the roar out on the Lina. Try and burst her down. Super won't even be able to get the paralyzing cask off before she's dead. The Centaur Conqueror getting involved. Drops down the stomp. Miracle now arrives on the scene. He focuses on Raji first. But they have actually found the real PL. Void right-clicking into him. He's got the Chronosphere. He wants this kill onto Miracle. Can he actually find it? Miracle's trapped down here on the low ground. The Doppelganger's still on cooldown, but he's just going to turn around in July with the mech, saving him. And now the Ravage. They will lose the PL. Is Void going to try and escape? I think they could have actually continued that fight, perhaps. He has maybe sold out the Dragon Knight a little bit here, but Love You Love Me still manages to get the blink off, and he'll be able to escape. Buyback out of the Witch Doctor. And FTD, the last two fights have gone really poorly for them, but this time around they get a little bit of their own back. iG.Vitality were not necessarily expecting that FTD were going to make such an aggressive play with their Skyrath Mage dead, and that paid off big time. It didn't really get them anything, though, is the only problem. No real map control gained. At least the Ravage is on cooldown, but of course they use Dragon Form and Chronosphere, so both teams having to wait at this point. So we're just kind of back to farm stations for a little bit. Void's got his BKB, as we saw in that last fight. He's now going to be going for a Mjolnir. Certainly a nice item to have against the PL. Not even so much necessarily for like the illusion clear just off of the procs, but having the static charge to be able to throw in the DK I think is a pretty big deal. Love You Love Me appears to be going for a BKB, just needs the Mythal Hammer. iG.V, they want to defend. Still 50 seconds to go. On the chrono, Love You Love Me pops the ulti, but it's only to put some damage onto the tower. Just waiting for now. Beyond does have the scouting information over here on the side, but they're actually going to use the courier on the iG.V side to try and snipe that. Nice little bit of micro from Beyond is going to keep it safe. And they keep on chipping away. Miracle is farming all the while. He is going to have his Manta style in just a second, and he definitely needs that to fight. Looks like FTD are going to get this building pretty much for free. Chrono's back off cooldown, but Ravage by the same token, only 20 seconds away. iG.V, this is where their lineup, or this is where their game really begins. Very sort of traditional China lineup. Hold the high ground, keep on scaling up. Lina still has plenty of room to grow. I mean, he's only halfway up the net worth chart. A little bit concerning for the iG.V side that he's this close to the Tidehunter. This Lincoln Sphere definitely going to be a very important pickup for him. And Beyond hunting for a pickoff with the Skyrath, but iG.V are not giving them any opportunities. They're just playing as a 5-man unit, watching Miracle farm. This is going to continue to put the Lina further and further behind if they keep doing this. But it might be the way that they just have to play against the Beastmaster DK and Faceless Void pickoff potential. Okay, Roshan's going to be up in another minute. Beyond is now going back for a Necrobook. Yeah, seems like a pretty sensible choice. And iG.V with their Ravage ready, smoked up, and hunting. What vision do they have, actually? They don't really see anybody. FTD know that mid lane's getting pushed out. They're scanning, just hoping to find something up top, but it's just the Chen creeps pushing over there. And over on this side, they're going to run into the Dragon Knight, but he's going to BKB, so he's not worried. Do not solo chrono that Night Stalker. Please, God. You have a DD. You can actually chronosphere useful targets. They've got the Hawk vision. They see Super up on the high ground. He's not great. They're going to chrono onto the Tidehunter. Can they burst him down? This DD is helping it. They've also got the Mystic Flare. That'll be in July, completely removed from the fight. He buys back immediately. iG.V still going to be looking for this, but they have to keep them here, and that's going to be the big problem. Void already jumping away. In July jumps in. He manages to get the Ravage. It's out onto all 5. They burst down the Void immediately. No send back attempted from the Chen. Now he goes for it onto James beyond trying to escape. Raji going for the TP out on this side, but he's going to get Yulesed. And iG.V punishing about as hard as they could. They don't get the Dragon Knight, but Roshan has spawned, and they are going to head straight into the pit. Well, I think FTD should have scattered. After the Tide buyback, like, maybe Void time walks down over here. Everybody just needs to run for the hills at that point. And instead, it looks like it is going to be an Aegis secured. Beyond, is there anything that he can do here? Tries for the last hit, but... Alright, we now have an Aegis on the Phantom Lancer. Love You Love Me, just trying to use the last little bit of this dragon form to push out the top wave. I would have liked to see, it would have been nice to see a damage item on the DK perhaps this game. Doesn't really feel like he's doing that much in these fights. Ever since they took away DK's attack speed talent, it really does feel like he struggles a little bit in some of these games to be really impactful in terms of actually killing anybody off. You kind of blink in, you Dragon Tail, and then until you're 3 or 4 slotted, it feels like your right clicks don't really do anything. Miracle, very aggressive build, is now going for a Blink Dagger. So useful against the Void. If you blink out of a chrono, that's potentially game winning. Helpful to get into the back lines and just slay the Chen and the Skywrath Mage without them really being able to do anything about it. So I don't mind this necessarily. And I think the only reason that he goes Blink over, say, Shadow Blade this game is, 1, the Lina has a Shadow Blade already, and 2, the Blink is a little bit more useful against the Chronosphere than the Shadow Blade is. Oh, it's just super. No, I know that your team is setting up for this push, but that is not a ward that you can go for. He gets completely slain. Interesting how this game is really kind of trended towards a lot of 5-manning from both sides. Love You Love Me does have level 18 now. He's a little bit isolated from his team. He needs to be careful. If he gets Yules, that could just be the end of him. They're going to try for the blind stun. He does still have the BKB, but that now gets forced out, and iG.V could even just disengage off of this. They've seen the Dragon Form used and the BKB. There's no reason to stick for this fight. You can just wait another, what, 30 seconds? How long is this Dragon Form going to last? It's 60 seconds, but even then, you wait another 30 seconds, the Dragon Form's going to be extremely low duration, and then you just go from there. So, alright, FTD are going to have to split up. They have to go and shove out these lanes. The Chen creeps at least have bottom lane handled, and they've got the Void doing the same over at mid. Dogfight's going to come running in here. Spots Raji, who does manage to force himself away. Dogfight's his turn to be a little bit ahead of his team, but not quite as far out of position as Super was. These lanes are looking a little bit concerning for iG.V, but they really want this tier 1 tower. The Glyph is available, that buys them another couple of seconds. And what they actually found is the Witch Doctor once again getting Dragon Tailed up. Dragon Knight ultimate not over just yet. Raji manages to get the Force Staff away. And over in the base, the Faceless Void is actually working on the tier 3, can half finish him off. The auto attacks are enough. Void silencing himself with the Mask of Madness, it looks like, and he does end up getting brought down. And for that, that's going to sound the horn for iG.V to just run on forward, find all of these kills. They slow down the Dragon Knight. He pops the BKB. Can they get a send back to save him? Raji, alright, sacrifices his own life to make sure that the Dragon Knight lives. iG.V grab that tier 1. Lina takes like half an hour to find the tip button on the Void. I don't know what that was about, but... Alright. iG.V, now a quick tier 2. There is a Chronosphere available for the Void, but yeah, he's dead for 25 seconds. So iG.V up onto the high ground. There is a Radiant Glyph available. They are going to be able to buy a little bit more time here. Love you, love me. I mean, he's got a breeze fire. He is not willing to do anything and beyond. Actually, just getting jumped on here by everybody. iG.V going completely unpunished for that dive. It's a killing spree for Miracle. They don't manage to get the tier 3 at the end of the day, but they are really showing... Well, I guess they're showing why they're at the top of the group at the moment. They didn't necessarily come through in the best spot from the open qualifiers. For anybody who remembers, iG.Vitality were disqualified in one of their earlier matches, and then they ended up losing to CDEC, but because the disqualification wasn't really valid, Valve just ended up inviting them to the main qualifier anyway, and they're looking really, really good. If they win this game, they're going to end up 3-0. I don't think this is completely over for FTD, but they're going to need another really big team fight. You know, potentially where they get the Chronosphere onto the Tide and burst him down. Immediately killing the Phantom Lancer would be very important, but that's not going to be easy. PL, 3.7k gold, probably picking up a heart before too long. I don't know if Miracle has anything else on his mind. Could go for a BKB potentially. Don't know if it's really all that valuable though. But he's still got the Aegis for now for another few seconds. Yeah. There you go. Alright, so no more Aegis, but let's see, is he gonna buy Reaver? Yep. So we're gonna have a very high HP PL running around before too long, and also to help him run around, he's gonna have that 500 Phantom Rush range talent. I don't know. Nobody ever goes the other talents on this hero. Everybody gets 20 attack speed, everybody gets 250 health, and everybody gets 500 Phantom Rush range. The only talent that I ever see anyone make a decision on is the Critical Strike versus the Doppelganger CD, but I feel like the Critical Strike is still the correct choice most of the time. Ooh, and Tide buying an Aeon Disc. Alright, appreciating that he could get chronoed and he could die. Nice scan, also going to reveal that FTD are running up this hill, and that could be trouble. And July is ready to jump in. They are going to end up losing dogfights this time around. That Mystic Flare damage, a little bit much to deal with. They're jumping into the backlines. Miracle going to try and focus down James. It looks like he should be able to get it. He goes invis at the last moment. They're going to end up losing the Courier. The BKB now being forced out from the Dragon Knight. The Chronosphere onto the PL, but he's got cheese. Can they actually focus him down? Why is the Void not here hitting him? Okay, he knew that they had enough damage without him, and he's actually over on the other side of the fight, killing off the Lina. I doubted for a second, but there you go. Faceless Void doing big work in that fight. Unfortunate for Miracle that he just could not get off his cheese. He couldn't get off the Manta style. Got split up a little bit from his team. And iG.V do end up losing that fight really badly, and they used Ravage. Phantom Lancer's got a buyback. But that might just get forced out here. They don't even have a glyph. FTD onto the high ground. I was just talking about iG.V with the 3-0, but FTD have found some inner strength. And in fact, FTD, alright, one lane of racks forced out. Miracle, I don't know what you're hoping for. This isn't just going to be the one lane. They're just going to go for more. They see that there's no buyback just yet. And iG.V, is that just it? Alright, Miracle buys back now. Angelai jumps in. Gonna try for a little bit of a catch. What can they actually find? The Dragon Knight getting locked down, but they could just send him back potentially. No, oh wait, Chen's dead. Chen's not here. He actually died in that fight. Alright. Never mind. They can't send him back, but that is a buyback only for the Dragon Knight kill. And their base is now kind of in shambles. Net worth lead getting eroded pretty significantly, but yeah, I guess most of that was just Miracle not expecting that he could actually die in that fight. I mean, the Mystic Flare was even used already, so he was probably feeling pretty confident that whatever got thrown his way, he could just tank through. Even with the buyback, still pretty close to his heart, but Void actually in that #1 net worth spot at the moment. And still 45 seconds to go on the Ravage. Roshan gonna be... Well, we'll find out the respawn time in just a couple of seconds. Lina is going for a Shivas. I don't know if I like this that much. It feels like to me in this game, if you're getting right-clicked as Lina, you're just dead. I don't think any amount of armor is really going to save you, necessarily. So, to me, it feels like he should almost just complete this daedalus. But, I don't know, maybe he is getting locked down a little bit, or just wants to... No, actually, what is this? It's not a BKB, it's a Shivas. I don't know. Up into the high ground they go in July. Ravage on cooldown for 1 more second. This could be a big Chronosphere opportunity. It's FTD who find themselves on the front foot. They've got better scouting with the Chen creeps, with the Beastmaster creeps, with the Hawk. So difficult for iG.V to move up that hill like that. And still waiting for this heart on the Phantom Lancer Miracle. Very close. They're probably telling his team, look guys, just let me get this item. Hopefully, it's tough because he wants to play around his team so that what happened in the last fight can't just happen again, but his build is also very much about just getting into the backlines and instantly killing the Chen and the Skywrath Mage and then coming back to deal with whatever else is happening after the BKBs and stuff have worn down on the Dragon Knight and the Void. But that did not work out to plan in that previous fight. Turned out that the backline was more than able to kill him. This is becoming some pretty tense Dota. Roshan's actually up already. Very fast Roshan respawn. I don't think either of these two teams have scouted this just yet. Void needs to be careful. If he gets stunned, he could just be brought down. Do they have the chainsaw? They're going to pop the Ravage for this. They really want the Void dead. They now need to be a little bit careful about going Rosh. There is a buyback for the Void. And he could also come TPing in here to the Shrine. FTD are thinking about it. This could be their game-deciding moment. They're actually going to jump in immediately with the Dragon Knight. He wants to keep them here, and they might just be able to do that. Miracle jumping outside of the pit. He finds James, tries to focus onto him. Love You, Love Me, getting pushed back a little bit by the Maledict along with the Death Ward. Super does good work to split up this fight, and FTD don't manage to keep it going in quite the way that they were hoping. They now need to try and secure the Roshan for themselves, but it's still not that easy. There's always going to be Phantom Lancer illusions pouring in. There's always going to be a little bit of spam coming in from the Lina. And it is, well, it's darkness for another couple of seconds. Once that runs out, though, they have to, they gotta go. They gotta just at least try. They need this Aegis on the Void. He bought back for this, and they can't afford to wait too much longer because the Dragon Knight ultimate is not going to be lasting all that long. Injuly wants to go in here and scout. Roshan dropping low. Can't Injuly try and grab it? He's got the Aeon Disc. He knows that he can't be focused down just yet. Lina's not even here. Aegis and Cheese are grabbed. Traces Void popping the BKB just to make sure. Now he's got the Chronosphere out into 2. Makes quick work of Super, and now they head on to Injuly. FTD. Could this just be their opportunity to go and end the game? They're going to claim the gem, and iG.V they didn't even present a united front on that fight. Lina was showing top, pushing. It seemed like they'd kind of decided, oh, we can't actually defend this, but two of their heroes still wanted to try and make something happen. They've got Glyph, so they can at least get the Witch Doctor back, hopefully without a buyback, but Ravage still on cooldown for 45 seconds.
Dire's top shrine.
Who's got buyback? Who else has buyback? Lina has buyback. Miracle does not have buyback. Alright, they're going to focus a little bit on the Dragon Knight. He pops the BKB, pops a Cheese. Buyback from Tide. Injuly into the backlines. Miracle needs to close the gap here and chase. He gets the blink forward, looking towards James, but he's got a Shadow Blade, and Miracle doesn't have any detection. These Shadow Blades are actually the bane of Miracle's existence. Dogfight's going to try and pop the dust, but Void just runs himself out of there. And FTD, now they can just go and wait for their Chronosphere. Happy with their Aegis being secured. They know that the Tide buyback has been forced out. And they're really just running rings around poor old Miracle this game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
DK is going to be going for Nullifier. Alright, so he's starting to look pretty scary. Did not opt for the armor talent. Instead just wants to go for some more items. God, their team does so much damage at this point. Especially with the Penitence on top of everything. The BKBs are starting to dwindle a little bit. 5-second BKB for the Void, 5-second BKB for the Dragon Knight. So that is going to make life a little bit easier for the Tide in terms of finding the right heroes, but they've also just been struggling to keep anyone else alive. It feels like the support's not really contributing a ton in these fights. And the Nightstalker and the Witch Doctor doing their best, but the contribution to the Skywrath Mage and the Chen just feel that little bit more impactful at this point. Switch it off buyback status for a little bit. Void, level 23. How close is everybody to level 25, in fact? So, 25 talents. Close, but still going to take a little bit to farm up. And this game's still extremely close in terms of net worth. Only a 1k gap in it. It's pretty much the exact same story for the experience. But starting to question a little bit as we get on here the actual late game superiority of the iG.Vitality lineup. Alright, Miracle buys both tomes.
Has fallen.
Wants that, wants the critical strike ASAP.
Money to burn.
He is carrying a dust this time around, so at least he'll have some kind of counterplay against the Shadow Blades. But FTD still in complete control of the map. Can he get 3 out of those 4 bounty runes? Half still working on the Shivas, which I still really do not like. If you're dying to getting focused, why not just buy a disc? I really don't know if the Shivas is going to save his life. Or even just buy a Hex. I think if they had a Hex here, sure there's some counter initiation from FTD, they've got the send back and whatnot, but I think it at least gives them a slightly better opportunity. They've got the Refresher Shard on the Void. Oh lordy. Double BKB, double Chrono. He just goes jumping in. He finds Dogfights. They're going to try and focus him down first. That's BKB number 1. They're jumped in with the Dragon Knight, but he comes straight into a stun. Straight into the Ravage. He's dead. He does have a buyback available. Faceless Void trying to do this all by himself, but the 2 Chrono Spears only get 1 kill, and it's only Witch Doctor FTD. What are you doing? Double kill for Miracle. This time around, he had the dust against the Shadow Blades. They're chasing after the Void. He does have the time walk distance, so it looks like that's going to be enough to get him out of here, but Dragon Knight not pressing that all-important BKB button, and that is going to be a complete disaster of a team fight for FTD. Chrono on cooldown now for 50 seconds,
Radiant's top
and
tower
that's going to
is
signal
under attack.
iG.V just to march right down mid. The throws are going back and forth this game. It has been a sloppy day of China Dota. And iG.V, they want to lane Arax here. They are not going to settle. They do have to wait for this top creep wave to get all the way in here, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
backdoor protection is actually disabled already. I don't know quite how that was managed. I guess that top creep wave actually got close enough. And now they came in. All right, now there you go. Backdoor protection is back. Aegis is reclaimed. iG.V still waiting for this creep wave. Still waiting for this creep wave. They really wanted to force this Dragon Knight buyback, but they just can't do it. Almost dead. Now the glyph comes out. It's healing a little bit more. 75 seconds to go on the Ravage. Chronosphere is actually back off cooldown. They need to be careful. The Void, he only catches 2. Miracle is just outside. They are going to be able to focus down half. In July, nothing that he can do to save him. Miracle this time around gets the Skywrath Mage. Once again, Faceless Void. He's been silenced. He's actually being focused. Can they kill him off? Miracle finally finding his opportunity in this game. And Void doesn't actually have buyback. He's dead for a minute and a half at the very least. iG.Vitality, is this their opportunity? They've bought back on the Lina. He bought some BOTs. He's back in here now. Miracle, they're helping to split the Skywrath Mage ultimate, but not enough. He actually dies. iG.V, what is happening here? Half standing his ground, trying to go toe-to-toe with the Dragon Knight. He gets the stun off, but now he's dead. In July is also going to end up going down. They don't even need the Faceless Void, as it turns out, to close this one out. Miracle's going to buy back, but he's pretty much the only one left defending. His Dogfight is also gone. James TPing over to the shrine and finding him. What? What? I don't understand Dota anymore, guys. I really don't.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Nothing makes sense. All right, is this even the end of the game? I don't even know. Beastmaster's pushing mid, but Miracle's kind of stopping him. Dragon Knight's got a double damage room, but he's only got a few seconds left on his DK ult. There is a glyph for the Dire, so they're just gonna go for another lane. Okay, I think I mean they'll get this lane for sure, but that might not be the end of the game. All right, there you go. Lane down. Miracle gonna go buy his Eagle Song. He doesn't have buyback, so he may as well get an item. Buyback from the Night Stalker. They've now got 3 heroes, 3v4. Void gonna be back up in 20 seconds time. Tier 3 still stands, and they still have the glyph. Looks like they are going to get everybody back on the side of iG.Vitality, so this zany game will continue. Love You Love Me tries to blink across. Paralyzing Cast going to slow down these Necrobooks for quite some time. Miracle being very careful here, just committing with the illusions, not doing anything too crazy. Dragon Knight actually dropping pretty low here. This Maledict is going to hurt, but they send him all the way back to the fountain, and they will just settle for the Tier 3 tower at the end of the day. Alright, so both teams have decided we're going to go at least one more round. Potentially one more Roche, potentially a couple more items. Lina still has the Shiva's recipe, but bought back and then bought the BOTs and then just what? Alright, well, not everybody gonna lose their shrines, but FTD do claim that one shrine, restrict the map control a little bit more. Roshan is back up in 2 minutes and 20 seconds time. And it's iG.V going for a smoke. It's nighttime, they've got Ags, they've got Gem, they're gonna have the vision. They should spot Raji in just a second. Can they actually find the Void? That would be the big target, and they actually see him over in the trees. Can they burst him down? They jump in, there's the Ravage, no save from the Chen. Void's dead, but he does have a buyback. 95 seconds on the respawn, he buys back immediately. There's still a shrine for him to TP over to here. They're going to try and kite this fight out, but they've also found the Dragon on the other side. This vision is so oppressive from iG.V. They're going to keep on going. What can they actually find? Love You, Love Me pops everything that he's got, but they now lose James. And what can they actually find? The Void's still not even here just yet. They get the roar out onto the Lina, but that's all that does. Lina's straight back into fighting shape, and Miracle's still just running forward, chopping down everybody. Raji trying for the escape, but Love You, Love Me is now trapped inside the river, and there's really nothing that the Void can do. I don't think he can 1v5 this. He jumps in. Alright, he's going to be going for the Lina. She wishes he had an Aeon Disc right now. Evade, evade, evade. It's not enough. But now, can Void escape is the question. He's still silenced. Out of the one silence, into the second silence. Tries to TP out. He's now dead. They don't have a creep wave anywhere to go and get anything. So, alright, Dogfights is going to push bottom.
Middle tower is under attack.
How is nobody's getting punished for the buybacks? Nobody's getting punished for botching these team fights. It's just going back and forth and back and forth. The Dragon Knight survived in the end. They tried to save the Lina and just got the Void kill. DK still has buyback. I don't know, do you put your body on the line here to just try and push out this bottom wave?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright. We are seeing right here why people value Night Stalker so highly still, even after all of these nerfs. And we don't even always see the Aghanim Scepter build, but this game, it has done a ton of work. Alright, they can't get Megas because they're still a tier 2 mid. Tide's pushing that out.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
Miracle coming over. This is still progress. Roshan going to be up in 10 seconds time. Still no Void for 60. Lina, as soon as she respawns, can come TPing in. Yeah, now you queue up the Aeon Disc. Alright.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And now iG.V onto the final lane of racks. There's still a ranged barracks over top. They need to be careful of that. They're going to get the Roar. They're bursting onto Miracle. They're trying to save him by tanking the Mystic Flare. Oh no, it's not Miracle. It's actually Dogfights. Never mind. Miracle's fine. They're trying to focus down the Night Stalker, it looks like. Miracle surviving, jumping in, looking for more. DK does have buyback, but not using it just yet. Chen's also back up, but they just seemingly cannot deal with the Phantom Lancer. He is finally fully online. So they have another Ravage. Can't click on the Tide for some reason. Nope, they focus him down. He's silenced. He's actually dead. He's going to buy back into the game. They're focusing on the racks. Miracle. There's also a Glyph. 10 seconds to go on the Void. That could be the turnaround. Angeli's come back in with some BOTs. They gotta be careful. They're afraid of the Faceless Void. They can't even get Megas. Are they gonna go get Roshan? Is that the plan? Nobody has buyback anymore. Everyone's used buyback.
Double damage.
All right, Lina gets the Aeon Disc.
So fear, quiet.
Yeah, this is freaking Shiva's recipe. Oh god. Roshan doing a lot of damage at this point of the game. And iG.V not feeling confident about the vision situation. They've got Darkness up in 25 seconds, but no Natural Night for 3.5 minutes. So if there was ever a window for FTD, this has to be it. Right here, right now. iG.V smoked up. I would normally show buyback status in this situation, but I guess there's not really anything to see there. They are just hoping to find any kind of catch. Void now with the 25% backtrack. A little bit of luck on his part could also change the game at this point. Not a great place to fight. They've popped the Darkness. They really want to focus on this Night Stalker if they can. DK still no ultimate for a little bit. They're going to get the Ravage out onto 2. Half following it up with the stun. They lose the Void. He's dead for 100. Dragon Knight is the only damage choice really for this fight now to focus on to the Lina, but she's got the disc this time around. gets out of the roar, able to keep on fighting. Love You Love Me still trying to focus her down, and will get the kill in the end. They've lost 2 so far. iG.Vitality and Miracle struggling a little bit against this Dragon Knight, who's found a double kill so far. Miracle focusing onto him. He's out of mana, so he's not really doing that much damage. Miracle sending illusions out here, there, and everywhere, trying to fake them out, and he's done it. It's a triple kill so far. Give this man the rampage. James buying himself a couple of seconds with the Ghost Scepter. The Shadow Blade once again is going to be the savior of the Skywrath Mage. As iG.Vitality, now what? It's a 2v2. It's 2 supports against the core and a support. But Miracle is just going to go for the Roshan. He did get the Doppelganger cooldown this time around. He just wants his sword. But that's going to give Void one more chance. Do they even... I guess they can't give the Aegis to anybody else. Unfortunately, the is dead for another 50 seconds. So. Oh, and are they even going to get this? James is coming over. He's got an Aghanim Scepter. He does a ton of damage. If they lock down this Phantom Lancer, he could actually end up dying. Miracle jumping across. They're going to lose the Witch Doctor very, very quickly. James getting focused, still staying alive. Doesn't have the Shadow Blade inside of his inventory. He's going to get sent back. Miracle still looking for more. He's jumping forward. It's a slow progression with the Doppelganger, but he's getting more and more illusions every single time. My computer is getting slower. He didn't bring all of them with him that time around. Alright, well, he can't actually finish the Rosh, apparently. Oh, no. Oh, no, are FTD gonna get the Rosh? No, don't give the... Oh, no, iG.V. And now FTD get the Rosh with the Refresher Shard and the Aegis. We're gonna grab both. Miracle going in there. He's gonna get Chronosphere. Can they figure out the real one? Yes, they can. Miracle do even have buyback. That's Chronosphere number 2. Miracle's almost dead, and now he's gone. Alright, he does have buyback available. Forced out both of the Chronospheres. Half, what can he actually do? Throws a couple paltry auto attacks from the hill. But that's it. Okay, so the Aegis and Cheese are still there. Mid Rax is dying. This is healable damage on the melee Rax. This ranged Rax is almost gone. Somebody kill these catapults. Oh, so low, but not dead. I don't understand Dota anymore. Looks like Miracle's buyback is not going to get forced out here. Nightstalker is working on a nullifier. Lina is now going back for Bloodthorn. In July, how's that Hex coming along? It's not. It's really not. Alright, FTD. I keep thinking that every fight is the last fight, and I'm wrong every time. So we'll stop framing it like that, and we'll just go, this is FTD pushing down mid lane once again. Another opportunity. Dogfights is down here. Has eyes on the Skywrath Mage, preventing James from joining his team. I think do they both have gem? No, but he's got a Dust. James getting gone on. I mean, he's got Ghost, he's got Rod of Atos. I don't think he dies, but... Alright, at least the Skywrath Mage is not there for this fight. Miracle not buying back just yet. They still have another Rax over here at top. The DK illusions are threatening that. Alright, they get the buyback forced out now. Who can they actually focus down? The Void doesn't manage to get on top of the Lina. Can they burst down Void? I don't think they can. Aeon Disc helping to save Lina's life. She pops the Yules though, wasting a little bit of the duration of that invulnerability. She does also have buyback. That's 2 buybacks from the iG.V cores so far. The Ravage not really doing all that much, and they've on the other side of the fight caught out the Nightstalker. He's getting bursted down by the Mystic Flare. Can they lock down this Void? Yes, they can. The Paralyzing Cast actually instrumental in bringing him down that first time. Can they get him a second? The Light Strike Array coming back off cooldown soon. Is it soon enough? There's the Yules. Half just has to time this properly, and now they've locked down the Void. He's now dead for 100 seconds, but the Mega Creeps have been claimed by FTD. If they can just get out of here. Raji was trying for the send back. He's going to be caught in the crossfire and brought down. Okay, iG.V. Here's your chance. 90 seconds, no Void. There are creeps in the base at bottom, but James is going to deal with that. So they just have to go straight down mid. Lanes are in a decent position. Chen's bought back. I don't know if 70 seconds is fast enough for them. There's also a Radiant Glyph. I think they're going to get another Void. So iG.V may have to actually just play against Megas. Miracle, alright, having bought back, is going to be going for a nullifier of his own. He has ditched Boots for that. Alright, just relying on the Doppelganger and Blink to get himself around. Nightstalker is not anywhere close to his nullifier. Any buybacks coming off cooldown soon? Pretty much no. So what you see is what you get, folks.
Radiant's
Anyone who
middle
dies here is
barracks
probably
are
dead
under
for the
attack.
rest of this game. Ravage off cooldown in 13 seconds time. James gonna be looking for an opportunity. Concussive shots fly. Just slowing them down, adding up that harassment. Dragonite looking for a good opportunity. If they burst down the Lina, that could be big. The Phantom Lancer also pretty good target if they can find it, but only 20 seconds to go on the Void. So we've now got Mega Creeps versus Mega Creeps. They've at least equalized that. Yeah, why not take the shrine? Sure, just gotta be a little bit careful. And this is where the shrine gets glyphed, and then the Void TP's in, and then he chronos everybody, and there you go. Okay, this is the point of the game where everybody just plays as 5. 50 seconds until daytime. If there's any kind of opportunity for FTD, it has to be during day. Chen is going for an E-Blade. What's that for? I mean, I guess there is quite a lot of right-click damage killing people, but... it's probably even just for... It's not even... I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I'm thinking about the E-Blade for save. Raji's thinking, I'm gonna E-Blade and Penitent some sucker, and then we're gonna drop a Mystic Flare on his head, and he's dead. I think that is the plan here. Alright. FTD gonna shove in bottom lane a little bit. iG.Vitality being very careful. Smoked inside of their own base. We do have some buybacks back up now. Dogfights. Can go scouting out. He sees a bunch of them. He sees James. He sees Beyond. But it's daytime once again. Darkness gets popped almost immediately. What can they actually find? They jump in. They're going to Ravage. It's onto the Faceless Void. Can they burst him down? They need the secondary Ravage. They won't let him get this BKB off. But they don't have the damage there just yet. Now the BKB comes out. They've lost the Witch Doctor in the backlines. Still no Chronosphere just yet as Miracle is diving around. They've focused onto the Lina. That Aeon Disc gets popped. Now they've got the double Mystic Flare. Lina's dead for 125. It's all up to Miracle. He's the only damage source left, and it's against 5 FTD heroes. Can he do it? He's jumping around with the Doppelganger, but everyone's pretty much out of mana. He's focusing on the squishier targets. He gets James. The Doppelganger is still helping to keep him alive. He blinks away. He Doppelgangers again. He's trying to get the heart heal, but he just can't manage it. And now they're still just running forward, focusing onto the tier 4s. Angel is doing everything he can. Miracle knows that it's now or never. He has to commit, but the DK still has Satanic. Miracle doesn't have enough left, and FTD have finally done it. After 57 minutes, I didn't think their lineup could go the distance. I thought iG.V had this late game locked up with the Tide. They just needed better coordination. The one fight where Miracle completely ditches his team to try and kill the backlines and dies. This fight where the Tide is like, I've got the Void. He pops 2 Ravages just for the Void, and they don't even kill him. Oh my god. And then the Lina with the Shiva's recipe. Alright, well deserved for FTD. I think there was some iG.V throwing involved there, but there you go. Very close game by the numbers. Win probability graph. Firmly in FTD's camp for most of that game, but there you go. Phantom Lancer notching some losses here. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of why Phantom Lancer doesn't always have the most impressive win rate. Maybe I was overhyping him a little bit, but I feel like this Lina had a not so great game, and the Tidehunter pick maybe turned out to do just less than they were expecting. Though I think a lot of that was just the Lina not being able to get in and actually use the lockdown for anything useful. Oh man. I mean, yeah, the Lina has like the same damage as Tide. That's not right. The Skywrath Mage, on the other hand, 40k. He put in some work. We had some very casting your mind even further back, we had some questionable solo chronos from the Void onto the Night Stalker. We had people doing all kinds of stupid stuff, but in the end, it will be FTD coming out on top. iG.V will have their perfect record blemished here, as they're now 2-1. FTD end their day 3-1. And iG.V are going to have to bounce back because they have another match coming up. I'm going to be heading into IG versus Keen. I would imagine that the lobby is already up, so I won't keep you guys waiting yet. There's 5 people in the lobby, so we're going to be back in another couple of minutes for IG versus Keen, which should be a pretty good one. I think both of these two teams, people are saying fairly good things about them. IG, I think, have looked a little bit underwhelming on the first day here. And Keen also kind of so-so. I think they're 1-1 at the moment. I don't know if they've played anything else since, but all right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying the coverage of the TI8 China qualifier and TI8 hub in general. There's plenty more regions going on. There's plenty of great Dota action to watch. And I will see you guys in a few minutes for IG versus Keen.